I am now on the Egyptian border. I'm in Aswan. And we escaped independently. The Sudanese communities came together, mobilized and organized ourselves to get ourselves to the border and escape, essentially. As a British national of Sudanese origin, I felt I had no choice but to take this route, which I feel in many ways was a blessing in disguise, because the people have really, it is the people that have kept me together. Unfortunately, there was no other means of getting out, and I'm very grateful that I have managed to reach safety. But my heart is very much with the people of Sudan and those that haven't been able to find a way, because it isn't easy. It isn't safe. It's a massive, massive risk to go out on the streets and drive and attempt to move in the midst of war. And it's also not cheap. It's very expensive. So it was a harrowing journey, but I'm here now, and I hope to get back to the UK very soon.
Do you live in the UK, Rozan, or were you over there visiting friends, family, or do you spend consistent amounts of time in Sudan?
Well, no, I am based between the UK and Dubai. My work allows for me to travel the globe, really. So I'm never really in one place. Sudan, I don't visit too often, but I do have family here, and I had come to attend the funeral of my cousin who had passed away very suddenly, actually. So I was only due to be here for 4 days. The day before my travel was when the war kicked off.
How did you manage to get out? You obviously were given help, and it obviously costs money. Did people drive you? Did you drive yourself?
Well, no, I didn't drive myself. There are buses. What has come to be as a means of independent evacuation is Sudanese communities from varying cities that are under attack right now are mobilizing and organizing themselves in buses and making their way to Egypt. Other families are going to safer cities such as Medini, although the route is what is so terrifying, because, you know, imagine being in a bus and driving past tankers and, you know, the risk of gunfire or shelling coming your way. So it is essentially the work of the community, the resilience of the community that have come together and are making their way through. I mean, cash is very important. So those of us who have access to cash are able to pay for the provisions that are required along the way. And we did it on our own. That's really how we did it. We organized and made our way by ourselves.
What sort of sums are you talking about, Rozan, in terms of getting yourself safely? And who are you actually paying? Are people profiteering from you getting out freely?
I wouldn't say profiteering, but there are means. You know, there's petrol that needs to be paid for. There's bus drivers. There's fees that need to be paid, you know, on crossing the border. There's for many, there are visas. You know, there's expenses. So I won't say that anyone is really profiteering, but prices are higher for certain things. You know, food is hard to come by at the moment. Water is hard to come by at the moment. So when we do come across it, then yes, prices are a little higher, but I wouldn't say they're extortionate.
Okay. Can we ask what it cost you to escape?
I would say in total around $3,000.
Wow.
That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. And if you're a family of 5 people, you're looking at a huge amount of money to escape. Rozan, was there any reason why you didn't go to the airport to get on one of the British flights?
The airport is on fire. It's been destroyed from what I understand. But for the first 10 days of me being in Sudan, we had not heard anything as British citizens by way of an evacuation plan. My mother, who called incessantly, every day, hour, many times a day, and I myself, I actually have friends who are staff there. They were just unable to update with anything solid. And I don't know if that was due to logistics or just how dangerous Sudan was or what. But 10 days in, I hadn't heard of any form of evacuation. And at that point, I was so scared that I had to find a way to go.
Do you feel let down? Do you feel let down, Rozan, by the government?
I think I need to know more. I need to understand, why it had taken so long. So I don't think disappointment is the word. I think real wonderment is the word. If there is difficulty in getting us out as British citizens, then let us know why. A lot of us felt like we didn't have a choice. We just had to do what we could to get out. My mother needs me, and I had to find a way. So I have no words, to be honest. And I really hope that evacuations have started now. I haven't watched the news because I've been traveling with no internet access for 3 days. It's a 3-day journey on average. So I hope that they have begun and that more of us are being evacuated safely.
Rozan, how optimistic are you that the conflict will be brought to a swift conclusion?
That's a really good question. Sudan is so complicated politically, and this what confuses me is that this brawl between these two factions taking place, even I, as an observer, as an analyst, but not essentially part of any particular institution, even I knew that this was going to happen. That this clash was going to happen. So the lack of readiness was a real shock to me, and I just don't know if it will come to an end swiftly because of how complicated things are by way of a new government and the transitional process that has already taken so long.